Fantasy Football Report. As you know, I'm the commish, and we're reporting live from Natty's finest studios. Tonight is Week 5. Thursday night's game is between the Arizona Cardinals and the St. Louis Rams. Managers, you know the deal. If you have any players on either team, make sure you get them in your lineup or you got them on your bench. Do something with them, so don't let it go undecided. Okay, got a lot to report this week after last week's games, including the weekly awards, Week 5's key matchups. A lot of good games Week 5, and the standings, and of course, Natty's finest power rankings, always a fan favorite. I'll recap Week 4's games right after these messages. It's Commish, Natty's Finest Studios. We'll be back.
Okay, who's having fantasy issues?
Yeah, all my receivers are busts. It's not fair.
Is it not fair? Or did you draft poorly? Who are you really mad at?
Myself?
Anyone else? I accidentally traded for a fullback.
You see that? You're not alone.
I have a coach on my roster?
Dude, out.
Discover an edge with Fantasy Football now, Sundays at 11 a.m. on ESPN2.
And we're back. Let's take a look at last week's matchup results, starting with the game of the week between Dem Boys and Sofa King Legit. The commission called this one, guys. Said it was going to come back down to the Monday night game. Dem Boys had DeMarco Murray playing and Dallas's D, and Sofa King Legit had Matt Forte. Neither really did anything substantial, but Dem Boys were able to do enough to pull that out as a victory. They got the W 138-130. Great game, though. Great game. Next up, we have If You Ain't First, You're Last with the Wildcats. The Wildcats, I don't know what's up with you guys this year. Only putting up 69 points, low score in another game. Solid game for If You Ain't First, You're Last. They got the W, and, we'll keep it moving on from there. America's Team versus EA Sports. EA Sports, man, with the 49ers D, everyone was laughing at him for that pick. Put up 34 points for him last week. Just mollywopped the Jets. I mean, weren't people giving you shit, EA? I know that I can't be laughing now. Keeping it moving to the whole effing show versus MF Jones. I watched this game. It unfolded on Monday night as well, just like the game of the weekend. And, this came down to one of the very last drives on Monday night. And, it was a great game. Jason Witten, Dallas Cowboys ended up scoring a touchdown, going over 100 yards very late in the game to push whole effing show past MF Jones. And MF Jones expressed his hate on the message board. I saw that as well. And, he's hating the Cowboys. I don't know why. It should really be the Chicago Bears defense. But, Commission ain't one to argue. We're just here to moderate. You got Moss versus the Rook. 172 points. The Commission tried to get the representative from You Got Moss here today, if not on the phone. He unfortunately could not make it, but, I wanted to talk about it. It's 172 points. I mean, geez, that's a lot of points. He could have probably beat 2 teams combined with their points. The Rook, you did put up 113, which is good, but, sorry, you just played the wrong opponent this week. Keeping it moving to Whoa There versus Gully Gully. Gully was able to get the victory. Not too exciting game, 128-82. That was it. Gully Gully with the victory. Moving on to the weekly awards. As you know, this was week 4 for most running back points. It was covered by You Got Moss with Michael Turner. Big game by Michael Turner. Just to recap, week 1, it was the Rook, most total team points. Week 2, most player points if you're not first, you're not last. And week 3 was quarterback points, and also fucking legit. Week 5 will be most points by a wide receiver. So you got the wide receivers that put up big points. Start them. Okay, that brings me to my first break. Let's take a quick break. I'm sorry, my second break, and we'll take a look at the matchups, the standings when we come back, and then we'll also get into the Natty's Finest Power Rankings. It's the Commish, Natty's Finest Studios. We'll be back.
What great stuff that is, man. The library. Yeah. You ever go by
Oh,
there?
yeah,
and
all the time, all the time.
Now,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we used to go by there and rub on First and 10 Moses,
yeah.
get a little luck, man. And how about those 4 horsemen? I never played defense. I was an offensive guy, man.
Yeah.
So, how was that, man, going there and making the sack? 27 seconds left in the game,
It's good, yeah. It's exciting, right?
They carried you off on their shoulders. That was great stuff.
Grab a bite.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah.
Man, That guy's a real inspiration.
You know that's not the real Rudy, right?
Welcome back. It's week 5, Natty's Finest Fantasy Football Report. I'm the commish, and here's this week's matchups, including my GOW Game of the Week. Starting with Dem Boys, which got a 3-1 record. Most impressive versus the Wildcats, who are struggling right now. Leaning towards Dem Boys just because the Wildcats' lackluster start. However, they do have multiple starters. Dem Boys do on a bye week, which gives the Wildcats a puncher's chance. You know, they got those running backs. They got MJD. They got Ray Rice. They got Chris Johnson, who just broke out last game. So, you know, you never can count them out. EA Sports is sitting at 2-2 versus Sofa King Legit's also sitting at 2-2. EA Sports is hot right now, 2 in a row. With all those wide receivers as well, AJ Green's one of the leading wide receivers out there now. For some reason, though, I'm leaning towards So Fucking Legit in this matchup this week. We'll see how it goes. Next up, we got America's Team also sitting at 2-2 versus If You're Not First, You're Last, sitting at 2-2. America's Team has a lot of questions in their lineup this week. You know, If You're Not First, You're Last, I think should win this game. As long as they don't bench one of the players that put up big points. I think they benched Stephen Ridley last week. He put up 20-plus points, or a week before. I'm not sure. I know he had Jamal Charles on his bench putting up 40 points. So if you're not first, you're last. Get those players in the starting lineup. Don't keep them on your bench, and you'll get the W. MF Jones, 2-2 after that bad loss last week versus the Rook, sitting at 1-3. The Rook needs a W badly here. Super Bowl contender last year. Fortunately, I don't think he's going to get it this week against MF Jones. They're still mad about that last loss on Monday night. I just don't think they're going to get it. Next up, Gully versus the whole effing show. A pair of 2-2 teams. Gully should take this one easy, unless Drew Brees does something outrageous, almost putting up 50 points again. I see it an easy win for Gully. You know, relax. You got this one this week. Now it's time for the commission's Game of the Week, the GOW. Whoa there, sitting at 2-2 versus another 3-1 team. You Just Got Mossed. Now, You Just Got Mossed should win this game. I see him winning, you know, handsomely. If his players produce, they need to produce their, you know, average scores, 10s and 15s. They can't get, you know, the 2s and 3s. I think he should win it handily. Whoa there could pull an upset if his wide receivers have big games. You know, he has Jordy, who's probably number 1 this week. He's got Andre Johnson, who's officially number 1, probably top 5 wide receiver. He's got another one out there who I forget the name. But he's got wide receivers. If they produce 100-yard games, multiple touchdowns, I think he's got a chance. I do see You Just Got Moss winning this game and staying at the top of the division. That's right here from the commissioner's mouth. With that said, let's take a look at the standings through week 4. Here it is. Okay, we had 2 teams at the top of the division with Dem Boys and You Got Moss. Clearly in first place, tied for it right now. But there are, count them, 8 teams at 2-2, just 1 game. And sitting lonely at the bottom, you know, you got the Rook and the Wildcats, you know, not looking too good. They need to make some progress this week or, you know, address some changes. Here it is, that time of the show, the Natty's Finest Power Rankings. Let's go. Natty's Finest Power Rankings, brought to you by Natty's Finest Studios. 1, You Just Got Mossed. 2, Dem Boys. 3, EA Sports. 4, MF Jones. 5, Gully. 6, If You're Not First, You're Last. 7, The Whole Effing Show. 8, America's Team. 9, Whoa There. 10, So Fucking Legit. 11, The Rook. And 12, The Wildcats. Okay, that about wraps up this week's report. Good luck to all the managers out there. And always, may the odds be ever in your favor. It's the Commission, Natty's Finest Studios.